On today's episode, the Ukraine war may signal the end of armor as we know it. Today's episode is brought to you by engineering.com, a globally trusted source for engineering content. Check out this and many other exclusive videos for the engineering professional found only on engineering.com TV today. By now, we've all seen the YouTube video, and it's always horrifying. A small FPV drone, little more than a child's toy, carrying the familiar warhead of an RPG-7 rocket-propelled grenade. It flies into the base of the turret of a Russian tank, and the tank explodes in a gigantic fireball. It's a scene that is repeated daily, with losses of Russian tanks now measured in the thousands. And each one represents the loss of 3 or 4 lives. It's a tragedy within a bigger tragedy, but from an engineering standpoint, the destruction of main battle tanks with what are effectively improvised explosive devices is very significant. Since World War II, tank designers have sought to protect crews and their vehicles from anti-tank fire with thicker armor, better metal alloys, spaced armor, ceramics and composites, and explosive reactive armor. Main battle tanks as a result have become larger, heavier, with more lethal anti-tank weapons mounted in those huge turrets. Yet we routinely see them disabled or destroyed by relatively primitive weapons in Ukraine. Why? Well, one reason is due to a design change made by the Soviets decades ago when they elected to replace the gun loader with an autoloader system, reducing the size of the tank crew by 1 person. This is advantageous for a number of reasons, but to make it work, the rounds were and are carried in a rotary magazine inside the tank hull. If the hull is penetrated, the result is generally unsurvivable and catastrophic. Of course, Soviet designers knew this, and they designed machines like the T-72 to resist anti-tank fire from guns and small missiles. And they were successful until the advent of 2 critical technologies. One was the development of soldier-portable small anti-tank missiles that explode on top of the tank, driving through the relatively thin top plating. The other was the advent of the FPV drone, which allows an operator to very precisely position a relatively small explosive charge at a known vulnerability of the tank. For Soviet-era tanks, one vulnerability is the junction between the turret and the hull, the turret ring. Another is the engine cover over the large diesel engines that power the vehicles. Neither of these anti-tank innovations were a factor when these vehicles were designed, and modern tanks do take this into consideration. Protection for the turret ring, more armor on top, and external carriage of rounds for the main gun are common in modern designs all over the world. But tactically, conventional wisdom is that even obsolete tanks, when deployed in numbers, can still turn the tide on the battlefield. That's the reason for the massive stockpiling of 30, 40, and 50-year-old tanks in Russian armories. Numbers matter. Until they don't, and that's where land warfare is at this moment. Even with the relatively primitive human-guided FPV, radio, and fiber optic drones in use today, simple shaped charge explosives are demonstrably able to disable heavy armored vehicles. And this has been achieved without extensive operator training or advanced warhead design. Put simply, older tanks are very vulnerable, which means that the future battlefield may require fewer numbers of very high technology and expensive main battle tanks operated remotely by trained crews. And very soon, if not now, the drones themselves will be AI controlled and operate autonomously, which means that electronic countermeasures won't stop them and they will arrive on the battlefield in swarms. Countermeasures then will involve shooting the drones down or obscuring their sensors with smoke or flares. But the simple economics suggest that there will always be orders of magnitude more drones than tanks, and surviving 1 or 2 drone strikes may simply not be enough for survival. It's possible that we may be witnessing the beginning of the end of the main battle tank as a weapon of war, or the creation of new armies of drone tanks, likely smaller, faster, and more agile. Right now, it looks like small, cheap drones will render the heavy tank obsolete on the battlefield everywhere. Well, that's it for today's episode of End of the Line, brought to you by engineering.com. For our deeper engineering series, visit engineering.com TV for exclusive shows like Manufacturing the Future, Designing the Future, and the Engineering Roundtable, not found on our YouTube channel. The links are in the description below. Thanks for watching.